Welcome to Quilt Chat. We're here in the AQS studio in Paducah, and we hope that you'll join our conversation. This is live on Facebook so that you're able to go in and ask us any questions that you'd like to ask. You know, one of the fun things that we get to do is we get to see and handle a lot of quilts, don't we?
Beautiful quilts, yes.
And we come at it from different angles, because yours is magazine, and so you're seeing the quilts that go in there, and of course then you get to see all the winners because you put those in the magazine.
That's a good part too. Yeah.
Yes, and then Betsey is using all kinds of pictures from everything we do here at AQS on our blog and on our On Point newsletter.
I get to see them all.
I know.
I love that.
Well, you know what? I thought today would be fun if we talked a little bit about some of the quilts that we're going to see at Grand Rapids at the AQS Quilt Week, because boy, do we have some beautiful quilts.
We do.
Yeah, so Betsey, what's a quilt that you'd like to share with the audience?
Well, whenever I was looking through the different ones that we had for the exhibits, I was really struck by Dianne Amzonas. He did beautiful work in the movement and everything, but the favorite was the koi fish. So it was Feast, that one. And it's actually quite a large work, so I can only imagine what it's like to stand in front of it. But when I look at that, I literally can hear the little fish doing the little, right? And the bubbles are insane on that thing, and how
it's
he
really neat.
Puts it all together and all the different fabrics in there. It would be incredible to see in person. So that was my personal favorite when I went through them all, because there was so much in it.
Do you know, one of the things unique about his is because he's using multicolors to do all those fish. You know, he's not doing them in brown and gray and silver like we might think. But boy, does he have to be able to master color value.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
I mean,
especially to get the texture he gets and the depth and perspective, all the different parts of it. He's a master of color, I would say.
Yes,
He is,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And along those lines, I was looking at the quilts that are going to be in the Sheila Frampton Cooper exhibit. The one that I really liked a lot is called Undersea Portraits. I really like this because I'm pretty fond of the ocean and reefs, and I can see all the way through this thing. You know, if you look from the darks around the outside to the lighter colors as you go in, you can just see a whole world opening up. It's a portal to the depth of the undersea, and I just think it's beautiful. Sheila is from France. She loves to use solids in kind of big pieces, although her works themselves aren't really that big. But she has some really neat quilts to share.
Well, and one thing unique about her quilts is that she has no preconceived idea. She kind of builds it as she goes. So she just starts putting down pieces and putting pieces together and builds the quilt that way, which is kind of a unique way for some of us traditional makers.
That's right.
That's totally different.
And you know, looking at the art quilts, especially being a traditional piecer, and there's this freedom that comes with it. When I look and see how messy it is and how playful it is, and it lets you like interact with your fabrics in a completely different way, where you're treating them more like a palette than yardage, and it makes that scrap basket a gold mine, because all of a sudden you've got all of these different little flecks of color that you can play with. And so, yeah, it's one of those things where whenever I'm wanting a break, but I need some creative mojo, just to go and look at some of their techniques and play with it. You know, you don't have to make a masterpiece, but just play, because nobody ever has to see it.
Maybe we need to set up a challenge
right?
like that.
Just play for a little bit.
It's a great idea.
Well, and so both of them really, Dianne Amzonas and Sheila, really are masters of using their color and the color value. You know, sorting color is something that a lot of people have trouble with. And so I'm just going to give you a little tip of how I do that. When I take my basket of fabric that I'm going to use, I sort it first of all into light and dark, because then you have really not much choice. You don't have to decide, is it dark or is it light, and you put it in that pile. And then when you get that done, then you take that light pile and you sort it again into light and dark.
Oh,
And so the darks of your light would
Another.
become medium, and you do the same thing with the dark pile, light and dark, and the light of the darks go into the medium pile. Now you have it all sorted in three
Now-
different color values.
so the lights from the dark and the darks from the light become the same medium, or do they become a light medium and a dark medium, giving you 4?
Well,
How does that usually work out?
They certainly could, but usually people have enough trouble getting the light, medium, and dark sorted
Right.
out, and that's just a real easy way to do it. And it's one I've always used.
Right, that's a good idea.
That's great.
Well, my exhibit that I looked at was Jane Sassaman's, and I chose her quilt, Oriental Carpet. And, you know, Jane designs her own fabric for Free Spirits. And one of the things that she does is big scale prints. Well, that means that she can use very simple designs. So when you look at this quilt, those blocks are huge with just a couple pieces of fabric in it, and then she's fussy cut those fabrics so that she gets that design to go across the quilt the way she wants to. And so if you look at all of her exhibit when you're in Grand Rapids, you're going to see that everything that she does is big print, simple design, and let the fabric do the work.
And that does look like an Oriental carpet, doesn't it?
It does.
looks
It
nice.
definitely does.
I think that would make you like a fabric super shopper. If you eat fussy cutters, whenever they do so
Oh,
much like that and
absolutely.
they do all that. Because I've only done a little bit of it, but all of a sudden, every border print has a whole new world of meaning.
Right,
They're taking a triangle and saying, what
Right,
can I see, right?
yes. I enjoy a lot of English paper piecing, and fussy cutting has gone wild for the
Oh, that
English
really
paper
makes them
pieces
cool
who
designs.
take the real novelty prints and they will make a circle of, you know, of fish or of faces or whatever. It's a really neat thing.
Well, and one of the things, when you do that in a hexagon, like you would, you actually can make it so that it looks like a kaleidoscope by fussy cutting those pieces.
Oh, absolutely.
doesn't
They
it?
can connect any kind of design then, much like Jane Sassaman does. They can connect and spread. Sure.
It does. Well, we have two beautiful quilts here, one behind us and one in front of us. This one is by Dianne S, and this quilt amazes me because she has used many different colors to do the applique. It's machine appliqued.
The blanket stitch.
And it's fun to see yellow and bright pink on these purpley colors. And then when she switches to something else, she does it in a contrasting color.
I think the name of this quilt is Daisy, and it's not the typical way when you think of a quilt named Daisy, you're expecting the full-out daisy, but here are the daisies, you know,
They're so
and notice
beautiful.
the way that they break when the block breaks. The
I love
color,
that part.
The color change. I love that too.
It makes it look like magic. It makes it feel more painted even.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's a matching point that you'd have to hit,
It
wouldn't it
would
be?
definitely
She has a
be.
great technique for that. She really does in her book. There's a really cool technique for that. And while you're listening to us, we'd love to hear if you have any questions. We'd be more than happy to answer them since we're live.
We are
Yes.
live today.
So just hit us with questions and we will be more than happy to answer.
Okay, Anne, do you want to tell us about the quilt
Yes,
behind
the
us?
quilt behind us is called Butterflies and Lilies. It's by Linda Bridges of Clarksville, Tennessee. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. It's going to be, we're starting to get in some of the quilts for the 2019 engagement calendar. And that's another fun time when we get to see different quilts that come in for the calendar. 52
Well,
of them.
Yes, and the quilts in that particular calendar have all been a winner somewhere.
Right.
And so I'm not sure what show she won with this quilt, but it would have been a winner somewhere that hadn't been previously published. So these
how
people get to be
neat.
published for the first time in that beautiful calendar.
Oh, that's so cool.
This quilt has a lot of glitz. It has a
It
lot
does.
of sparkles to it. It's very, very intense and very pretty.
It is sparkly. Really sparkly. I love all the little flowers in the border. It's like she said, you know what, I don't have enough flowers. How can I add a couple more? So pretty.
And it works too, doesn't
Oh,
it?
it really
It
does.
definitely does work.
Absolutely.
It really does. And that flying geese border keeps your eye just going right around them. Beautiful.
Well, we'll be coming back to you every Wednesday at 11 o'clock Central Time. So I hope that you, while we're gone for a whole week here, that you will think of some questions that you'd like to ask us. And if any of you are involved in any kind of special exhibit that we might consider for our shows, bonnie.browning@americanquilter.com. Just send me an email, and we'll take a look at it to see how it fits with the scope of the rest of the quilts that we have on exhibit. So with that, we'll see you all next week, 11 o'clock on Wednesday.
Thanks for watching.